Hi, this is Shonnie Lavender, the Conscious Moms Coach, and today I'm going to be talking to you and actually showing you how to give empathy to your child or your children. And I want to do this because for many parents, this idea is appealing, right? We want to nurture our children. We want to give them that emotional support when they are struggling. And yet for many of us, in fact, probably most of us, this model was not something that we had growing up. Not because we had mean parents or anything, but because it wasn't something that was more commonly in practice. There wasn't as much information about why it was important. And so it just wasn't done. So for many of us, the idea is like, yes, I want to do this, but how? So it's the yes, but how. And so today I want to give you the how. I'm going to role play it for you. And I do also want to give you these are not empathy. This is not empathetic examples, because I find that for most parents, we often go into, at some point, these non-empathetic reactions to our children's feelings. So know that that's common. Don't beat yourself up about it. Don't be mad at yourself. Just know that we go there sometimes. And it's not that you can't ever go there or it's terrible. It's simply, I want you to see these are not empathy. This is empathy. Okay? So I'm going to give a specific scenario that may have happened in your life, or if it hasn't yet, it may happen at some point. It has happened with me and my daughter, who is 8. So I know from whence I speak. And I've done it empathetically and I've done it not empathetically. So again, I have a lot of experience on this front. So here's the scenario. So this is my child for the example that we're gonna do today. And so this is my child, and this is the scenario that I want to offer to you today. So my child, Oscar in this case, Oscar the owl, Oscar comes down the stairs in the morning, or flies down the stairs in Oscar's case, right? So comes down the stairs and says, "I don't want to go to school." Have you heard that before? You can, give me a thumbs up or a heart if you've heard that before. So if that happens to you, here's some things to do and some things not to do. So here's Oscar. "I don't want to go to school." Okay, I hear that, right? And I can hear that there's some energy in his voice. So if I was going for empathy, I could do something like this. "Oh, I hear you, Oscar. Tell me more." Right? So I'm curious because I don't really know what that's about yet. All I know is I don't want to go to school, right? So I can say, tell me more. "I don't like going to school." I won't maybe do different voices. I'll try, but "I don't like school. It's no fun." So you don't have fun at school. "Well, it's sort of fun, but I don't like my teacher." You don't like your teacher? Yeah, is there something wrong? "She yelled at me." She yelled at you? Tell me more. "Yesterday, when we were having circle time, I was getting poked by Brandon, and I poked Brandon back." Okay. "And the teacher saw me and she said I had to move." So you had to move yesterday in circle time, and did you feel sort of sad? And an aside here, if you know that that's a default feeling that your child goes to you, maybe you can pop that in though. Did you feel sad? If you don't know, you don't have to guess. At this point, you could just say, "Oh, you had to move, huh?" "Yeah, I had to move and that was no fun." You didn't like moving? "No, I had to get up and I couldn't find a new place." That was hard. So you got moved out of your spot and there was no new place for you. "Yeah, and then I had to move Jenny over and she wouldn't move over, and then the teacher told me just to sit down, and I was it was so not fun." So you can hear, right? Can you hear me going, I'm not necessarily saying a lot. I'm asking some questions. Tell me more is one of my favorites, right? So it's like, tell me more. I don't really understand, or I'd like to know more. I'd like to have a better understanding. Because when you're empathizing, what you're doing or what you're going for, two things is, number one, you want to help your child feel felt. And by that, what I mean is that they understand and they feel in their body, in their mind, in their emotions, they feel the sense of like, yeah, mama understands. Daddy gets what I mean. Grandma or Sally or my friend, whoever the person is, they have the sense of like, this other person got it. They understood what I was going through. So that's the number one thing you're doing with empathy, is you're helping your child have that sense of feeling felt. The second thing you're going for, at least in my mind, as a conscious, mindful parent, is you want to have some information, whether you use it now or later, you want to have some information to know about what's your child's experience. What are they challenged by? What are the developmental areas that they're at? What are the skills you can help them build? What are the things that they could have in them in terms of a skill set that would help them cope with some of the challenges that they're facing at this age and stage in life? So to me, that's sort of the twofold. Number one is you're wanting your child to have the experience of feeling felt. Number two, you're getting some information so that, again, you have some material now to work with, if needed, to support your child on the longer term, okay? So not a lot of talking on my part. I'm doing, tell me more. I want to point out a couple things too. Now, granted, it's sort of weird because I've got this stuffed animal, right? But he's here. He's not way over here. It's hard to do on the screen, right? He's not way across the room. I'm not trying to empathize with him while I'm on my phone. I'm not trying to empathize with him while I'm cooking dinner. Now, doesn't mean you can't be empathetic in those ways. Probably not while you're on the phone, but yes, you can be doing something else. Empathy, though, is going to thrive in an environment where there's that close proximity, where there is that equality of experience. So it's like, he's not way down here and I'm looking down at him. He's not way up here above me. We're sort of eye to eye. We're close proximity. There's those open hearts. So I'm listening to him. I'm not judging him. I'm going to go into some of the don'ts and some of the not empathy examples in a minute. But I'm creating that connection. I'm creating that safe space where what he says is true. And I get it. I'm not doing anything to correct him or fix it or make it better. I'm simply hearing him, and I'm reflecting that I'm hearing him by my own vocalizations, that by my facial expression, right? You can see that. You may not be able to see it as I'm looking this way, but I'm doing it facial expressions. I'm doing it by my body language. And I'm doing it by the words that I'm using. So when I say, tell me more, or was it like this for you, that's also part of the empathy. So let's get back to Oscar's situation here, because Oscar would like some more empathy. Yeah, she was really mean and it was so hard and everybody was staring at me. That probably didn't feel very fun, did it? Yeah, I don't like to be stared at. Yeah. How are you feeling now? And so you can ask that question, check in. Well, I don't want to go again. I don't want that to happen again. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Well, is there anything that you'd like from me right now? So you can ask that again. So don't have to assume. Maybe Oscar does want to, do some problem solving. Maybe Oscar just wants to be heard. So don't assume. Ask that question. So let me ask it again, just reflect. So is there anything you want from me right now, Oscar? I don't know. I just don't want to go to school. I don't like it when it happens that way. Yeah, I hear you. I hear. Can I come sit next to you? So I might do that. If I'm sitting across from my child, I might sit next to, well, in my case, it's a her, but I might say, can I sit next to you? And so I might even then say something like, can I hold you? And if Oscar says yes, then I might hold Oscar, right? So now I'm a little bit closer, a little awkward with stuffed animal here. But so, yeah, I hear you. Sometimes that's hard, isn't it? Yeah, you can watch their face, see how they're, are they close to tears? or you hear the quaver in their voice, use your own emotional intelligence and notice like, oh yeah, so, oh, my child's looking sad now. Yeah, that feels like that was really hard. I'm sorry that happened. So you can just give them some genuine, this is sympathy now, like, oh, I feel for you. I'm sorry that that was your experience. So that might be, again, this is a role play. I'm not saying you have to go, this is not a step. You have to do it these 5 steps. Not that. It's to give you an example of what it can look and sound like. So I might do that. I might say, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Can I give you a hug? So I'm going to give Oscar a hug. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sweetie. And I might be quiet for a minute. That's hard for me. I'm a talker, so it's not always my natural thing. So you can be quiet for a minute and just see. Maybe they'll say something like, now maybe Oscar, just by feeling felt and being heard. It's okay, Mom. Yeah, I don't think I'll sit, in the same place today. Ah, okay. So you don't have to sit in the same place and circle? No, I can sit where I want. Oh, okay. So do you have another idea where you want to sit? I think I'm going to sit next to Abby. Yeah, I want to sit next to Abby. Okay, cool. Well, you can give that a shot. And maybe that's it. Maybe then he's like, okay, I'm ready to go to school. Maybe not. So I'm not going to go into all those details, but I wanted you to see an example of how an empathetic conversation with our children can be when they're feeling feelings, okay? So that's an example of one way, again, not the way, not the only way, certainly, that it can look like, simply one way that you can offer empathy to your child or your stuffed owl, whichever you have sitting nearby. So let me pause for a minute, take a drink, and then I'm going to explain some of the things that are not empathy. Okay, so some things that are not empathy, and yet many of us do at times. So back to the overall, right? So Oscar, I don't want to go to school. That's what we first were presented with from our child. And so if I would have started to explain why, that is not empathy. Well, you have to go to school. It's Tuesday and we go to school on Tuesday. That's not empathy. I'm not saying it's wrong. Again, none of these are being judged as you shouldn't do these things. I'm simply saying that's not empathy. Another thing that's not empathy is saying all the things that we don't want to do. So, I don't want to go to school. I know, I don't want to go to work. It's such a pain. I really would like to not do the dishes too, and I really would like to not have to pay my taxes. And on top of that, you know what I'd really not like to do? I'd really not like to have to do Christmas shopping at the last minute because it's such a pain. That's not empathy. You're going into our list of what we don't want to do, right? That's not empathy. So here's another one, convincing our child that what's going on is actually okay. It's not a big deal. It's, you're making a big deal out of nothing. So here comes Oscar again. I don't want to go to school. Well, it's really cool. You love school. School's fun. Oh, your friends are there. Oh, come on. You love your teacher. She's so nice. And remember, today is library day. You love library day. Not empathy. Again, not wrong, just not empathy. And here's another, it's sort of blended into these other ones, but ignoring the emotion entirely is also not empathy. So, I don't want to go to school. It's time to go to school. Let's get in the car. I just pretended that didn't happen. So that's ignoring those emotions that our child is feeling. So all of those are examples of not empathy, and there's more, but I wanted to give you a few because, again, as parents, and I've done it myself, go into the explanations why they need to do something, or we get into our story. Well, here's how it is for me. That's not empathy. Trying to get them out of the emotion they are into another one, convincing them it's okay and they're going to love it. It's going to be great. Not empathy. Okay, so those are examples of one way to empathize with our child and some examples of what is not empathy. So that was one example of how to offer empathy. A lot of other scenarios, of course. I just picked one that I think is pretty universal for most parents that we will run into at some point in our parenting journey, is that our child's going to come to us and say, I don't want to go to school, or I hate school, or something, or whatever it is. I don't want to go to gymnastics, or I don't want to go to such and such club, that we're going to be faced with that. But it's really, empathy is there for any situation in which our child is expressing some emotion to us. And particularly, I would say it's really useful when the emotions are things like sadness, fear, anger. This example with Oscar today sounded, it's like, well, what is that? I don't want to go to school. Is that anger? Is that fear? We don't know up front, right? So that's why I said the tell me more. But that sense of resistance, you can tell there's an energy, there's an emotion, there's something behind what our child is saying. So that's what empathy is for. It's there to be in connection with them and help them see that we recognize, hey, I get that you have emotion. I get that you have feelings. I get that something's going on for you about what this is. So I wrote down just a few more just to give some examples of when you might think, oh yeah, time for me to work on my empathy practice. I'm going to do what Shonnie is encouraging me to do. So Halloween for my family was last night. And so I might have heard something like, I don't get more candy. This was, after we came home and started to eat it. There's some emotion there, right? I don't get more candy. You can use empathy then. Another scenario could be sisters having a friend over, and they're not. That child is not. So that can be a time to offer empathy. Teacher punished me, or teacher yelled at me, in the scenario that I used. So something happened at school. That's another scenario for empathy. My friend wouldn't play with me at recess. Another scenario for empathy. You're going away on a business trip. All my children here sound like they have some grievance, right? Yeah. So another scenario, your child has feelings about you going away, or dad going away, or somebody coming to visit, whatever it is. So any situation in which you either know that there are emotions that are sort of fueling what's being said and the behavior is an opportunity for empathy, or any experience where you sense, you don't know, but you sense, you have your parental intuition and you're like, I think there's some feeling behind this. That's the time to practice your empathy. So practice it. Come watch this video if you need. Again, like, oh, what do I do? Where do I sit? How do I do it? And a couple clarifications I want to make at the end here before I close up is, you notice that I did ask some questions, right? So empathy, you want to be mindful when you are being empathetic, is your child is getting to choose how much to share, how much to reveal. So you don't want it to turn into an inquisition or a grilling session. So it's not about, well, what happened? And then what happened? And then try not to do that. Try and really just be open to like, well, tell me more. And then if they want to tell you more, let them tell you more. If they don't, you can use some of my other strategies I talked about. You can simply just listen more to what they're saying. If they don't say anything, you can reflect something back or guess at something. So are you feeling sad? No, I'm not. No, I'm not sad. I'm angry. Okay, so you're angry. So tell me more about, who are you angry at? Oh, I'm angry at my teacher. Okay, so it does, or it can involve questions, and yet it's more of that gentle, open sense. Like, again, I'm wanting to understand, not, you need to tell me more. I got to understand what's going on. It's not that sense. And really let your child guide it. And so you can guess, be aware of that if you guess incorrectly, it's okay. And just know that they may not like that. And then they're like, well, no, I'm not sad, I'm mad. Okay, you're mad. It's okay. Better, if you can, to invite them to tell you than guess. And yet don't be afraid to actually guess too when you don't know. Like, well, so how is that for you? Is a question, But if you don't think of that, you could say, so was that scary? I don't know. Do your best guess, and each time you practice, you'll learn some more. You'll learn more about yourself. You'll learn more about your child. And so empathy is really a wonderful, wonderful tool for helping your child feel felt when they're having feelings and emotions, and also helping you to have a better understanding of who your child is in that moment, what's going on for them, and what support they might be needing from you in life. So I hope that's helpful. If you have questions, please post them, or comments. You're welcome to post those as well. And I love to do this. So if you found this empathy role play helpful, let me know that as well. Or if you'd like some other types of role play that you could use some support around, let me know that. And Oscar and I can come do some role plays for you again. So thank you so much for spending this time with me. I'm Shonnie Lavender, the Conscious Moms Coach. You can find me here on Facebook most weeks, most sort of Thursdays about this time. And you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on my Facebook page, Shonnie Lavender Parent Coaching. You can find me on my website, ShonnieLavender.com. You can find me on my YouTube channel. Find me a lot of different places. So reach out to me in those places. Please feel free to follow me on social media and share my resources with other parents who are on a conscious parenting path. Thanks so much. Have a great day, everybody.